Again, I've used this before. I do like it. But the goal of today is to see Natasha Denona or the Tarte Radiant Shape Tape Concealer. Which one is better? Are they the same? Do I prefer one over the other? Because they were released at the same time pretty much. And I'm just going to apply a little bit to my nose. And it does a really good job covering, as you can see. Hi friends, welcome back. This is Sveta and this is Pretty Polished Reviews. In this video, I wanted to go over the new concealers by Natasha Denona and Tarte Cosmetics. So this is the Tarte, this is the Radiant Shape Tape, and this is Natasha Denona. I actually already kind of reviewed this one and I have worn it a few times and I really like it. I feel like it does live up to its claims. It's definitely medium coverage. It does not sit in my fine lines. It will so wear throughout the day. I really like this. And I'm curious to see if I'm going to like the Shape Tape Radiant Concealer. I have not tried yet the Tarte concealers just because I don't like full coverage. But this one is medium coverage and it's supposed to also be like crease proof and a lot more nourishing to the skin. And a little bit later I will read the claims for both. And I did get a similar color in both. In the Tarte, this is Radiant, obviously 29N, which is a light medium neutral. So again, 29N. And in Natasha Denona, I got N8, which is also a light medium neutral tone. And as you can see, just by looking, they're very similar. And the packaging, I definitely have opinions about, and I'll go into that later. And let's see, when I ordered the Tarte concealer, I had I could choose a sample, right? And samples are supposed to be, for me, from like, in my case, I want a sample that I can actually try for a couple days. Because if I like it, I will need to try it a few days. I'm not gonna just swatch it on my arm and be like, wow, that looks great. And the reason why I mentioned that is because on the Tarte website, when you order the concealer, and you can only order the concealer on their website, and the shade I do have, I saw that they are out of. And so hopefully they have more stock soon. But anyway, I selected the Tarte C, which is their Hydro Flex Serum Foundation. And you get this little card. And you don't pick a shade. The card has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 5 shades. And so you're supposed to just pick the one shade that you think is right. Well, I actually was just going to throw this away. I was like, what am I supposed to do? But then I just, this is not my shade. Although it does look pretty, for fair neutral, it does look kind of deep. But then I was just going to be like, who can really sample this? Okay, so I can take this, right? It has actually very dry consistency. And I can put it on my arm, rub it in. And it's actually very dry. For a serum foundation on my hand, I don't even like it. So why not actually give us like a decent little sample size that we can use a couple of times? Because this does not sell to me. This was just going to go in my trash and I was just like, well, okay, this is not a sample. This is like anything you can get anywhere. And so then I was looking at the different tones and I was thinking, all right, medium sand. I was thinking that was going to be my color. But then I'll show you. So this is medium sand. And this is light neutral, which to me. It's not very neutral. Okay, so this is this medium sand. And yes, it does have like a serum-like consistency, and the color is good. Still, although this is not enough. This is not enough for me to put on my face. It's not enough for me to wear one time. So I do wish that brands would stop doing these little cards and instead invest in actual like little sample sizes. Kind of like when you get perfume, right? You can actually spray it probably for a whole week, once a day, or like, you know, once a day, yeah. But you can actually take, like, sample it. You can actually see if you like it. And foundations are expensive, so I'm not happy with this sample at all. But my rant is now over, and I'm gonna go ahead and actually start my makeup. I'm not gonna talk over too much, or at least I'm not gonna try to rant too much. And for my base, I'm really gonna go light. I'm gonna use the Natasha Denona Hyglam Skin Glass. I really like this. You do have to shake it before you use it. And then I have a Lancaster. These are this is face bronzer, and it's kind of like any other product on the market that is a liquid face bronzer. And so I combine these two. You can take any bronzer drops, any serum like foundation, any primer. But for me, for a summer base or for a light base, I really like this combination. So what I do is I'll drop some, like a drop on my hand. And then I'll take my bronzer, liquid bronzer, and just like that. By the way, Lancaster, it's not, nobody talks about it, but I think it's amazing. It's actually made in Monaco. And I don't know of any other product besides Lancaster stuff that's made over there. So then I just go ahead and mix these two together. It creates like a really like goldish bronze kind of color. And this is a lot, so I use too much serum. And so as you can see, I'm gonna put my hair back. I'm not doing any foundation today, just because I wanna try out the concealers by themselves. And by the time I add powder, it'll provide like a good base. So I'm trying to be really careful not to get it under my eyes. And right now it really like makes my skin more red, or more like, you know, has actually more color. But once I add like some translucent powder and a little bit of hourglass powder, this looks
So
really
the Tarte
comes
Shape
together.
Tape is
Okay,
supposed to
so
make your eyes look smoother,
I'm done with that.
reduce the look of dark circles and redness.
And
it is supposed to
go
have
ahead
24-hour hydration, 12-hour
apply the
crease-proof,
concealer
all-day
now.
wear, waterproof.
And so on my
And
left
so
eye,
for Natasha
I'm gonna
Denona,
do the
it is supposed
Natasha
to
Denona
reduce
one.
dark circles,
And on
under
my
eye
right
puffiness,
eye, I'm
it's
gonna do the
anti-aging,
Okay, so
increases
left is
skin
gonna be Natasha
hydration, and it's long
right
wearing.
is gonna be Tarte. And so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the claims. Okay, let me switch it around because I am doing Natasha Denona on this side and Tarte on this side. So the claims on both of these are that they're crease proof, they're not radiant, but they're hydrating. It sounds like they're really good for more mature skin, more aging skin, skin that has, you know, fine lines, and especially in this area. And so, like for me, I can't wear full coverage because it looks really cakey. And both of these concealers are meant to be really, really like good on the skin and almost like a skincare and a concealer in one. And honestly, if you wanted to just use whatever you have and you have a full coverage concealer, I would just combine like this kind of like concealer with eye cream or with eye serum and just mix the two. And I bet you can get similar, take. So it doesn't mean that you should go and buy these. It's just that it's easy, right? You don't have to pre-mix anything. And so on Natasha Denona, I do want to mention that this is made in Italy versus the Tarte, the Radiant Shape Tape Concealer. This one is made in Korea. And with Natasha Denona, you actually just get 7 mLs or 7 mils of product, while with the Tarte, you get 10 mils of product. So you do get more product with the Tarte. So hard for me to say Shape Tape. And then for packaging, like it has these little kind of like hearts on it and I don't know, TPs or triangles. And when you open it, it's just like a standard plastic tube. And it has the big doe foot applicator. And the Natasha Denona one, I feel like is more luxurious. I really prefer the packaging on Natasha Denona, and also her concealer tube does this, where it has like a suction. And the wand is much more precise, and it has the narrow tip. So far, just looking at the packaging, I do prefer the packaging on Natasha Denona. And so on my right, so I'm going to go ahead and use this hand because I don't have, and I'll put some swatches over here. So I'm going to start with the Tarte Shape Tape. And there really are supposed to be, so there's Tarte. It's nice and smooth. It reminds me of the Natasha Denona because I already used Natasha Denona once, so I have pretty good opinion of it, and I really do like it. And so this is the Natasha Denona one. Okay, as you can see, the colors are pretty similar. I do think Natasha Denona one is a little bit more peachy. It's a little deeper. And again, these are both supposed to be light, medium, or light, medium, neutral color. And these are medium coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and apply Natasha Denona over here. And also have a couple of like spots that I can go ahead and cover. And so let's see. I don't do, or I guess I can do a stripe. And a little pinpoint is amazing. I love that. I don't cover any of my like moles, sunspots. I generally prefer to keep it pretty natural. And just here. And because I'm just doing one side of my face, I don't just do a little bit on my eyelid. So the color is good. I really like this color. I definitely think it would be too dark in the wintertime. And my favorite way to apply concealer is with a wet beauty blender. This is a mini one, and it's just stained. It's not dirty. I did wash it, so there's no product on it. Actually, let me go ahead before I start. I'm gonna apply the Tarte just so we can see next to each other. So this has like, I don't know, it just feels so much more like cheapy. And they're the same exact price. Okay. They feel exactly the same. I have a little dot here and a little thing here. So this has like a bit of a pointy end, and you can do the same thing. The doe foot is bigger. I guess I should apply a little bit more here. The doe foot is bigger. And I am going to wear this throughout the day, and I'll do like a quick check-in at the end of the day just to see how the concealers wear. And so far, I find that the Tarte one is a little bit more moist. I find the Natasha Denona to be a little bit like drier, but not dry at all. So I'm going to use one side of the Beauty Blender, and I'm going to go ahead and just blend this in. Again, I've used this before. I do like it. But the goal of today is to see Natasha Denona or the Tarte Radiant Shape Tape Concealer. Which one is better? Are they the same? Do I prefer one over the other? Because they were released at the same time pretty much. And I'm just going to apply a little bit to my nose. And it does a really good job covering, as you can see. Okay, so that was Natasha Denona. Super easy. It does not crease whatsoever. I'm really, really happy. So I use the pointy end for Natasha Denona stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to the more, as you can see, I use it also for blush sometimes. And I'm going to go ahead and blend the Tarte. I have not used the Tarte, so this is a first impressions. It's definitely medium coverage. It is hydrating for sure. A little bit side my nose. Blends out just as good as Natasha Denona. Let's see on my spots. Okay. It just wore off. So, initially, I feel like Natasha Denona actually covered. I feel like with the Tarte one, it went on, but then it just blended away. I mean, the under my skin is definitely more radiant. I just don't feel like it provides the same kind of coverage. So I'm going to apply a little bit more of the Tarte. Like it's super like watery, like not, obviously it's not watery, but comparing to Natasha Denona, it's definitely a little bit more wet. And even on my spot right here, like I don't feel like it did as good of a job as Natasha Denona did here. So Natasha Denona concealer, it's a little bit drier, but I feel like it has staying power. I actually feel like it conceals. The radiant one is radiant. And even with the second coat, which Natasha Denona, I definitely don't need a second coat. So far, I much prefer the Natasha Denona. So far, this Radiant Tarte Shape Tape Concealer is not... It's just... I mean, it's setting down. It's nice and like dewy here. It feels similar to this side, but I just feel like Natasha Denona side just has so much more coverage. And so I'm going to set it down with some translucent powder both sides. Although they're not supposed to crease, but I like to wear my makeup during the day and I take walks. I go to the store. And so I really want to just see how they both wear. And I always use the Laura Mercier powder. And I use that for the rest of my face as well. This is definitely not a new powder. This is her original, you know, Holy Grail one, the one everybody uses. Except I just have like a huge tub of it. And so I'm going to go ahead and just take a brush and I'm going to go ahead and powder. And I do find that if I skip the step, I can tell. Even just by putting like a serum and a like bronzer drops, I still feel like this gives me like a more of a finished look. Takes away a little bit of the shininess. And although I do like a dewy look, I still like don't want to look shiny. And this lasts me throughout the day. I'm really happy with its performance. My plans today are to go to Costco. As always, I feel like I'm always going to Costco and Trader Joe's. Those are my regular go-to places. And I really don't need much, but it's like the fresh things, right? Milk or vegetables, fruits. Those are the things that we have to constantly buy again and again. So it's like I always feel like I'm at the store, at the grocery store at least, and but it's only because this Rare Beauty highlighter is so pretty. It's like you can't really see it, but you can, but I'm just saying on the other side. But I feel like I'm always at the store because I always have to replenish my fresh produce or fresh items like milk, like I just said, or butter or eggs. But anyway, I'm not complaining about going to the store. It's just like, I feel like there's people who meal plan for a whole week and either goes in the fridge or freezer and like, and they actually do like a plan and they buy everything and they only go to the store once a week. And I really like, that's my goal. Like, I want to be able to do that, but I'm just not like, I can't plan it enough, or I am such a like a, I eat with my, like my feelings drive what I eat, you know, like it's like, what am I in the mood for? And I don't want to eat the same thing every day. So for me, meal planning would not work because I would not want the same item every single day. As easy as it is, I definitely like eat according to how I feel. What sounds good, like what looks good, you know, and I do eat healthy for the most part. I always start to lose my voice. I should know better than not to have a drink around me. But anyway, I'm always at the grocery store because I never know really for a few days, like, what am I going to be in the mood for? But I'm going to go ahead and finish my face makeup on camera, and I'll finish my eyes off camera. And that way we're not sitting here for so long. And today I'm going to use the Jane Iredale. Not Irondale. It's Iredale. And this is her blush stick, and it's in the color Balmy. And I actually got this in Germ Store, their like Beauty Fix box. And I have a gripe about that box too. Last month, so this is what the color looks like. And I'm just going to take a little brush and use a brush to apply it. So last month, I was supposed to receive my box. I didn't get it the first week. There was no, like they didn't send any message about it. So I'm like, okay, fine, I get it, you know. They will send it out soon. And so weeks kept going by, and there was just like 1 week left in the month. And so I got really, nervous because I was really excited to try the products. And so I started to chat with them. And, they were very nice. They were like, okay, we're going to look into this. And, apparently it was still processing. They were still trying to acquire more product. And so I was like, okay, I'm really like polite, and I understand, things might take longer, and they were actually very kind. So I didn't worry about it too much. I thought, well, okay, maybe, like 2-3 days, and, they're going to ship it out before the end of the month. So it didn't get shipped out at all. And then I also didn't hear back from the company about like, oh, we're out of product, so sorry, let us refund you. Nothing. I did not receive a single thing from them. So back on chat I go with germ store people, and I tell them, I was told, it's processing, I still haven't received it. So then the guy or whoever I was talking to, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. It is still processing. I will try to elevate this, And I was like, I would actually like my refund because it is now, the month is gone. I'm probably going to get the next month's after communicating with you guys for a while. So I would just like a refund. And he was really nice about it. And he was like, yeah, sure, we'll give you a refund. We understand this and that. And I got some sort of an email from him, but it wasn't a refund. And I was like, okay, fine. Things can take 24 to 48 hours. And so I go ahead and waited a little longer. And still no refund. So back I go to chatting with Germ Store about this box now that I am like so over. I'm just applying this Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. And, but still, like I'm friendly and I don't try to like be dramatic or anything. But I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed at this point. I feel like, they fell through, like they didn't take care of business. And so I told her what happened. I said, like, I was told a couple days ago that I was going to get my refund and I haven't. So then she was like, I'm so sorry. And obviously then right away, they processed the refund. Like the email came right away that I'm getting a refund. So I wish I knew that with 2 days ago because I was still here sitting waiting for a refund. So if you do want to get a Germ Store Beauty Fix box and it's not coming and it's at the end of the month, I would start like pestering them because no one was going to contact me about this box. It was just going to stay in processing probably, and I would have never got a refund. So this is where we have to advocate for ourselves. Like we have to be like, hey, what's going on? And guess what? My May box got sent out the second day of the month. And yeah, I'm excited for it, but that was such like a headache. I have other things to worry about. This was supposed to be just like a fun thing in my life that I receive in the mail and I get to try out. So I had a subscription for 6 months, like a recurring thing. And I'm not gonna do another one because once I'm done with these boxes, I just don't have time to deal with these things. And even if you read their reviews, it happens a lot. So if it does happen to you, don't ignore it and know that if they do say you're gonna get a refund, you should get a refund right away. And don't sit around and wait like me. So anyway, I have lots of rants today and I'm not sure. I'm sorry for it, but I'm going to go ahead and finish my eyes off camera. And let's see. I'll let you know what I think about these concealers before I move on. So I feel like still, the Natasha Denona one has better coverage. Even on my eyelids, I feel like it does more. So Tarte one, maybe I'm going to have to play with it. Maybe it's just too fresh and liquidy at this point, because when I do apply it, it's very wet. And I wonder if it just kind of like moves around a lot. So it's like it doesn't have enough pigment. There's just a lot of the hyaluronic acid and whatever other hydration things they have added, like fruit extracts and this and that. But at the end of the day, I want this to perform. And right now for me, it's not performing as well as the one by Natasha Denona. And this one is definitely made in Italy. This one is in Korea. I prefer made in Italy. And I've had to apply 2 layers of this, and I still was not happy with the coverage. So we'll see how they last throughout the day and whether or not this one will crease. Natasha Denona does not crease. It does last very well throughout the day. But this is the battle of the highlighters. Which one is better? So far, Natasha Denona wins for me as an application, and the packaging, and the coverage. And Tarte so far is lacking on the coverage. It feels really great under the eye. It's very hydrating. But for coverage, for sure, it didn't do much. It's almost too creamy. It has too much skincare almost, seems like. But anyway, let me go ahead and put on my face or my eye makeup, and I will be right back. And so far though, if I'm looking at the concealers and when I was doing my eye makeup, I definitely prefer the Natasha Denona side over the Tarte side. Although they're both hydrating and they both feel really nice on the eyes, I just feel like Natasha Denona provides a little bit more coverage.